Welcome back to the fucking podcast here on FucXing Listen.
FucXing Listen.
It's your boy A-Dub, and I'm with my co-host.
Start, Sean.
Back here with another episode. We're here, episode number 10.
Number 10.
Here in the third month of the year. So if you've been following with us and, been watching multiple episodes, we appreciate y'all for staying this long and checking this video out. Right here in the milestone of a double digits here on the fucking podcast. Here, it's kind of hard to just continue to grind and keep putting your opinions out there, even when you feel like nobody's listening. But we're gonna continue to just put our opinions out there because eventually we're gonna meet the right people that need to hear what we need to say.
Very true.
So appreciate y'all for being here, helping us, sharing and subscribing, all that stuff. You know what I mean? But as you can see in the title, today we're talking about double standards. You know what I mean? We all know what it is. If you don't know what it is, we're going to break it down, explain it to you, give you game. And then you're going to realize that you've seen this stuff in your life. You just didn't know what it was called, but it's called double standards.
Double standards.
Sure. Is double standards a good or a bad thing? It's up to the person out of you. You know what I mean? Nobody can give you the answer to that stuff. It's your own preference. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's out there, it's happening, and it affects people's lives and everything. So,
no, for sure.
We're just going to dive into it and give our opinions on certain stuff and what we think about it. So, Andrew going ahead, he said, you're going to start us off, the first conversation starter.
Oh, for sure. Let's get right into it. What have you experienced in your life that are considered double standards?
Off the rip, if you've been listening, and if you're new to this, you're going to hear this from me often, is that I always talk about my feelings on here on the podcast, on the show. This is basically how I vent at this point to get this shit off. But my heart real big, so my feelings and emotions are a lot. You know what I mean? Yeah. To a person point of view that's outside of me, they'll sometimes say that it's a lot. You know what I mean? And it's not a lot what they are used to because A, I'm a man, and B, I feel more than what most people do. You know what I mean? Right. And I think that's because of the fact that I wasn't allowed to feel when I was younger. So now when I feel, it's double. Because it's like, damn. It's that's like, fair. I'm learning what it is, and I'm also figuring out a way to express it at the same time. So I face that double standard all the time because women are allowed to express themselves, talk about their emotions and their feelings without any repercussions. But when a man do it, they look at us funny, or they judge us, or they sometimes, when you express yourself, they even say, bro, stop acting like a girl. Yeah. Or stop acting like a female. You know what I mean? And it's like, just because I'm showing my emotions and my feelings and stuff, why does that make me a girl? You know what I mean? Like, where did that phrase come from? Like, we not all human at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And we all have emotions. Where did that phrase, stop acting like a girl, because I'm trying to express to you that I'm hurting about something or something rubbed me the wrong way and stuff like that. But because you don't like it, it's like, stop acting like a girl. Yeah. And like, that's a bad thing also. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
it's weird.
That's a double standard that off the rip, quick vibes. Yeah. You know what I mean? That I can come up with off the rip.
Yeah. Especially like growing up too, you know what I mean? Like, not even on like some emotional stuff, but like, say you fall, scrape your knee, that bit hurt, you crying a little bit. Stop being a little girl. Stop being a girl. Stop acting like that. Man the fuck up. It's like it's unnecessary, but little child, female, busts up. It's like, oh my God, let me take care of you real quick. For us, is get the fuck up. Get the fuck up and figure it out. And that's why a lot of us have issues. Yeah. Society that we were brought up in our lives and just the people around us, not in a way to belittle it, but like when you're starting from a young age, it fucks you up as you get older.
Thanks.
And like you saying right now, like you feel it more now, like 10 times what you would probably should have, because you didn't get the chance to express it. Shit is weird how our upbringing does affect us, as we covered so much in these episodes we've had so far.
Gonna keep happening.
Yeah. As y'all can tell, we had a decent childhood. Just fuck this in the end, though. Jesus.
All right, what about you?
I would say my personal experience comes from more of being able to say and not say certain things to certain people given the double standard. And I think it not only pertains to, gender specific, like where you would say, oh, men can say this, or only a woman can say this, or, whoever. I'm not trying to offend people. You know, only certain people can say certain things, even comes down to race as well. Like, there's certain words certain people can't say. And, that's, what we classify within the communities, people like, I ain't gonna say it. Nah, I'm not gonna do it. Not get canceled. But you know what I mean? Like, there's certain things that we all kind of express that we know that we can't say and can't say, and it comes down to double standards, especially depending on the work fields. There's certain things a man can do, certain things a woman can do, but when they want to flip it, there's a double standard against females. There's a double standard against men when they try to do certain jobs or being certain like nurses. Like a male nurse can probably be criticized because he's a male nurse, and that's more seen as a female's job, just because there's probably more female nurses than there are male nurses. And then same thing for like doctors. Female doctors kind of get a little bit more criticism than male doctors do because in some people's heads, like, oh, only a man could be a true doctor or some shit like that. There's only like slight inconveniences like that that I would say me personally never really experienced like on a professional level, but more of like in the communication part of being able to talk to people, especially where I work at. I work retail job. It's like I ain't trying to give up where I work at, but knowing what you can and can't say to certain people, what jokes you can kind of make, and not even like just customer wise, even in your own coworkers too. You got to be able to kind of like judge the room and be careful what you say nowadays, especially the way the world is right now. You don't really want to offend nobody. And I, for shit show, would probably offend somebody on accident with this type of shit I'd be saying. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's more I would say my personal experiences because I'm a talker. I like to talk. I like to have conversations with people. That's why I'm a salesman. So, yeah, pretty much.
To get a better understanding, I'll give you an example somewhat of what he's talking about. So I know some of y'all can't just listen to something and just be like, okay, I know what you mean. You need examples.
Yeah.
So let's say we'll talk about a man and a woman approach each other to try to, get to know them, see what they're about, to see what type of future I guess you want with them, if you want one at all after the conversation. And, certain men and women, they just don't know how to do that. And by that, I mean, like, they feel like everything works on the same person. They feel like they can say whatever they want and it's okay. So I'm going to start it off by saying, like, let's say in a situation of people being uncomfortable.
Right.
Let's say a woman approaches a man and she asks him what his name. He tell her name. He asks her name, and she tell him her name and stuff like that. And let's say something like she some outlandish shit like
Mm.
it's a 1 out of 100 chance for it to happen to you, bro. But I just
Yeah.
gotta say it this way so it really grabs your brain so you can understand what we're saying. Cause I done seen it
Mm.
happen before. Let's say the first thing that come out her mouth is, "Have you ever got your ass ate?"
Alrighty. Wow. I know where
look,
this is coming from.
look.
I know where this is coming from.
And then they ask you, she asks you, have you ever got your ass ate? And then obviously, you know what I mean, in this situation, the man is feeling uncomfortable. He's like, no, why are you asking me that? We don't even know each other.
Yeah.
Um, and then she replies like, well, you just never tried it, but if you let me, you don't like it. And then he
Okay.
replies, I don't think I will. I don't think I want to try that. I don't even know you.
For
I
sure.
don't even want to continue this conversation.
For
And
sure.
then she just continues to sit there, and then she's like, "No, no, no, give me your number. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it for you." You know what I mean? And then he was like, "Even if we did continue this
Mm.
in a way, I will not let you do it and stuff like that. And then she
For sure.
replies, well, how you gonna stop me if I'm
Yeah.
if I'm giving you a blowjob, giving you head, and then all of a sudden I'm eating your ass, then what? So I know that was a lot that you just heard out of nowhere, but I'm gonna need you to keep that whatever feeling you got and think about if it was a man in reverse that said the same
It would
things
be fucking
to a
terrible. He would go
woman.
to jail. He
You
would be
know what I mean?
arrested, got his ass beat, all types.
You know what I mean?
All types.
And that's a exaggerated example, but it's an example that definitely happens out here
Oh,
in
yeah,
this
for sure.
world. I had to make it so
Mhm.
exaggerated so you could see how
Yeah.
crazy the double standards and when it comes
Yeah.
to certain shit, especially when it comes to women talking to men and men
Mm-hmm.
talking to women. Like certain shit could get us motherfucking
Locked up.
arrested. Certain shit could get us like them papers that make you stay like 100 feet away from a
Yeah.
motherfucker, a restraining order.
There it is. Yeah.
So, but when it comes to a woman and when they doing it, it's like you
She can
gotta
do it.
take it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you
Yeah.
like get caught about it, like
Mm-hmm.
talking about I'm gonna get a restraining order, like as if they would or call the police on now,
Now
they would
you
just
consider,
look at you funny
yeah,
and
you
shit like
considered
that
a bitch. Let's just put it that way. For
type
that.
shit. So that's just an exaggerated example of how
Yeah.
certain shit women could get away with, but a man could never. Nobody should be able to get away with it. That's not what
Oh, for sure. No,
I'm not
that's
saying like
yeah.
men should be, you know
No,
what I
no, no, no,
mean?
no. Yeah,
Cause
no.
I know when niggas talk about double standards, they talk about shit that certain things that they not allowed to do, they should be
Mm-hmm.
allowed to do. This is something that nobody should be allowed to
At
do,
all.
but depending on your gender,
Yeah.
you might be able to get away with it
Yeah.
80% of the time, and that's one of them.
Mm-hmm. It's just crazy. Like the whole argument that men can get raped.
Yeah, that shit's stupid.
Yeah. I don't. You can get raped. It just first of all, like I know our conversation isn't going to put that type of shit to bed because I don't know how many times I've seen the conversation come up. But just because we get hard does not mean we want it. We don't have control of that fucking thing. It does it by its fucking self, okay?
Yeah.
And y'all think, how does it? It fucking does, okay? It can be the
Mm-hmm.
littlest thing, can set us off at any fucking time, and it's not even in a sexual manner. The thing just does it by its fucking self.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we have some control because we are in our own bodies, but it's literally a rush of blood to a certain area of your body. You control
Right.
blood? You control blood? All right.
No, I'm not an avatar.
Nah, for sure. No, I mean, I can't. So no, it's just because it's there doesn't mean that's what the situation is. Especially when you're in a matter of like sexualizing like that. For certain people, certain things can cause it to happen. Like say, you and a girl making out, and your head's like, ooh, cool, bam, hard. Some people are like that. Some people like slight shit like that, or certain things kind of remind them of things, and they get hard. It doesn't mean you want it. That's just you. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially when you put intoxications and all that type of shit into scenarios. Like, if you were to flip it and put a female in that same position, it would be seemed as holy shit, what the fuck, world ending, which it should be, but it should also be the same thing for men.
Mm.
It shouldn't just be he wants it. It's not how it works.
It's just not talked about enough, bro.
No, for sure.
They feel like that it's an excuse because we had that thing in our pants that
Yeah,
actually has to get hard in order for us to do it. And they
yeah,
think that the fact that it does do that, that means that we want to do it. Because it's
yeah.
like, if you really think about it, why is it like that if you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to do it? Like you
Yeah,
said, 80% of the time we don't have control of it. Like,
at all.
if you really sit there and think about it, bro, men talk about morning wood all the time. You think off the rip, off the wake up, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I wake up and it's like that. So why it can't be that the same way in a
yeah.
situation where in my mind and in my heart, I don't really want to do that. But Jimmy
Yeah.
down there, he like, fuck it.
I
Fuck
guess
it.
you do.
You know what I
No, no.
mean? You gotta think about situations that get niggas in trouble like all
Yeah,
the time or get them in situations all the time.
yeah, yeah.
Like sometimes, bro, that the Jimmy be in control. He be in the driver's seat and
No,
shit.
for
But
sure.
sometimes we can fight that nigga, like
Yeah,
if we really want to.
that's where that saying comes from. With like,
And
think with your big head, not your little head, type shit.
right, so and then the other objective, like it's not just that you're a man. How could you not fight her off and things of
Yeah,
that nature? Like personally, I can't really speak nothing on that because I've I haven't been raped. I have been sexually assaulted for sure.
right, right.
But I have
I've
been
definitely
raped,
been
so I
broke.
can't really share or express how physically possible it
Yeah,
is for a woman to pull your stuff out and do that to you.
yeah.
Unless you just a young kid and you know no better
Hmm.
and an older lady taking advantage of you, then definitely that's the case. But as an older man, I can't really see how, drop in the comments and shit if you got any ideas and
Yeah,
shit like that. Of course, we want to hear about that and learn it for ourselves and shit like that so we can
sure.
better articulate these conversations. But yeah, they say because we're men, how could we not fight them off? You know
Yeah,
what I mean? We supposed to be stronger than them and things of that nature.
not
How
how
do
that
we
works.
just lay down and just sit there and take it? It's multiple factors that can go into it, just like anything, like just like what happens to a woman. It might
Yeah.
not be physical, but I imagine that it could be an emotional or mental
Oh, for
thing
sure.
if like somebody if somebody attacks you enough mentally or emotionally in a way, you will fold
Yeah,
like a
yeah, for
lawn
sure.
chair.
It don't
You
matter
know what
what
I
it is.
mean? So I can only imagine it could be like that to a point where a woman just manipulates a man
Hmm.
into doing it. You know what I mean? But that's the only thing that I could come up with. But yeah, it
Yeah,
definitely can happen to a man. I'm definitely a true believer to the fact, like I said, I have been sexually assaulted.
yeah.
But luckily enough, you know what I mean, I was in control enough
Hmm.
to it never got to that point. But yeah, it's if a man could be sexually assaulted, he definitely could be raped, bro.
Oh,
We
for
get
sure.
touched, niggas. They touch
Yeah,
our
yeah,
nuts and dicks all the time
yeah,
without asking and shit like that. You don't think
yeah,
that they out here just you feel
yeah,
me going a
yeah.
long way with it? Like, come on, bro.
Hmm.
If you just a person out here that don't think that can happen, bro, you either naive or you
Yeah,
the problem.
yeah.
You know
Nah, for
what I'm
sure.
saying?
For sure.
So yeah, that's another double standard right
Nah, for
there
sure. Yeah, yeah,
and things of that nature.
yeah.
Um, Double standards can happen in all appearances of life. It don't matter what you doing. Um,
Nope.
it don't have to be as extreme as rape for it to be called double
Double standard.
standards or emotions and stuff. It could be your appearances. You know what I mean? The difference between men and women, certain shit that women get judged on for wearing, and certain shit that men just don't get judged on for wearing because they just a guy. All they gotta do is put on
Yeah.
a shirt and shorts and
Or
shit
even
like
like
that.
not even having to wear a shirt. Like dudes can walk around shirtless, but females can't. Now I don't say that from the perspective of like, oh, in a perverted way, but like that's kind of a double standard because you do have females out here who want to be able to do the same thing, or even
Mm-hmm.
just walk around, in a small ass top, and they get judged for that. But a dude can walk around shirtless or damn near fucking naked, and it's like, oh, he cool.
Mm-hmm.
But what female do it is, we can't see that. It's over sexualizing females because there's like, why is it over sexualized for females but not for men?
All right. Then you
Yeah.
got the double standards when it comes to career and leadership.
Hmm.
How men are more seen as the more dominant fact between males and ladies and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So companies like putting a man over a woman, like a situation where a woman been there for 20 years and a man just got there 2 years ago
Yeah.
from a different company and they give him the CEO jobs, CFO jobs, and stuff like that instead of somebody who's
Yeah.
been up grinding over the company in and out, stuff like that, all because she's a woman, which is fucking terrible. Then you got double standards like in parenting and families and
No,
stuff
for
like that.
sure. For
When it
sure.
comes to like, it's higher standards for women in a family environment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When it comes to like the children wise
Hmm.
and stuff like that. And if you don't think that's true, just look at the government system when it comes to people splitting up.
Hmm.
What side 99% of the time gets the children, regardless of what's going on.
Which is crazy.
Woman, you know what
Women.
I mean?
Yeah.
So that right there just shows you the double standard that women are held more higher than men, regardless of anybody seen the resume yet. It's
Yeah.
always presumptuous that, of course, the kids should go with the mother. You know what I mean? And it be situations where the man is the provider for the family and things of that nature and stuff like that, and he still can't get his kids. Like, he's able to show that he could take care of his kids, but it all goes back to the basics of us being humans is
Mm-hmm.
that it make more sense for a woman to raise a child. Why? Because they are the emotional ones.
Mm-hmm.
They the ones that could really talk about their feelings. They the ones that could guide their kids through life without restricting them and stuff like that. These are the stuff that they think that men can't do or men won't do because that's not the idea of the world of what a
Right.
man is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They think that if the child or children go with the husband and he's raising them and stuff, he's not gonna have time for them. He's gonna neglect them. He's
Yeah.
not gonna acknowledge their emotions. He's
Yeah.
not gonna talk to them when they're upset to talk them through and stuff like that. They think that's only a woman's
Woman's
characteristic
a
in the
mother's job.
family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, why would we send him over there because he has money, but he can't do this, and that? You
Right.
don't know this man.
At all.
You know what I mean? You do not know him at all. Who are you to judge if he could be able to take care of his kids or not?
Yeah.
Especially in situations where the kid asks him to go with his daddy anyway. That don't make
Mm-hmm.
sense to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just another double standard right there. Another double standard in life is, when it comes to safety and security.
Mm.
Women often advised to take precaution to avoid becoming victims of violence or harassment, such as walking alone at night and dressing modestly.
Right.
But men, on the other hand, may not face the same level of scrutiny or pressure to protect themselves from harm because they're a man. They
Right.
should be able to take care of themselves. They're expected to take care of themselves in a situation like that. But when it comes to a lady, there's always an assumption that she shouldn't be allowed to do these things because women are weak.
Yeah.
You know what I
Vulnerable.
mean? Quote unquote. Um, and that just brings in a whole new double standard to men and women. It's like these double standards that the world has created over these time and over these ages has just put a negative light on certain genders or certain situations or for certain people and certain
Mm.
races and certain religions. And it's always a positive and negative side. It's never positive and
Of course.
positive.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Somebody's always losing
Yeah.
when it
Oh.
comes to double standards, bro.
No,
It's
for sure.
it's all it's always a
It's a two-sided coin.
yeah, and it's just weird and shit to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Like,
Why can't we just get along?
I don't know.
Like, what's the point of it? Like, no, like that's the question, bro. Like, what's the point of it? What's the point of a double standard? Like, what is it? What does it do for you that it benefits you? You know what I mean? Like, for what? Like, you personally on a level, how does it take you to a spot where you're? I guess you could say you're above all because you don't have any implications on yourself, like the gender roles and shit like that. It's like, well, for what? Like, the fuck for what? Like, it makes no sense. It literally doesn't. I feel like there's for a lot of it, it's unnecessary.
People just people try to understand shit they don't understand. You know what I mean? That's one of the biggest negative things as humans that we have possible. It's also one of our strongest things that we have, but
For
it's
sure.
as strong as it is as negative as it is at the same time.
Yeah.
Because as much good as we do from understanding shit we don't understand, we do a whole lot more worse with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't double standards just ain't come about in our day and age. Like
Oh, for sure.
it was not created for us to talk about
At
here
all.
on this podcast
At
yesterday.
all.
You know what I mean? It was here for our parents. It was here for our
Yep.
parents' parents. It was here
Yep.
for our parents.
Yep.
It should go
It
back
goes
to the
all the way
day of
back.
times where humans was fucking created.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Somebody took the step by step and spread the knowledge of certain double standards and shit that people can
You can't
and
do.
cannot do.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And
Which
it's
is so
no
crazy that it's
ifs, ands,
lasted this long.
buts.
Mm-hmm. That shit is so wild that it's gone on for this long without any sort of change. And in my eyes, only gotten worse, realistically.
Honestly, do you think it can change? Can it get to a point where, you know, double standards is not such of a big conflicted thing in the world where people don't really have to talk about it anymore?
I say it's possible, but there's too much ignorance in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it would never happen. It's completely possible. Like, it's just so hard to shift someone's mindset. Like we were talking about, the men can't get raped thing. There's a lot of people, and a lot of people, those are female, and a lot of people, those are men, who wholeheartedly believe that men can't get raped.
Mm-hmm.
And it's entirely possible. Like, you have the ability to be assaulted, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But the mentality and the ignorance behind the fact that you believe that it's not possible is the problem. It's just the way people think, the mentality of everybody. We can't control the way people think, and the only way people can change how they think is themselves, or if someone around them goes through it, or themselves go through it. Like, that's the only way you're really going to have a mindset shift. But you would need a mass mind shift, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you'd have to change everybody's mind, and it's just literally impossible to affect that many people at a certain time in their lives, or everybody at once, for them to actually flip as a society and be like, "Oh, this is wrong." Like, it's possible, and you have to do that in every aspect of life. Not even just that. You got to go through every little fucking part where there's a double standard. There's double standards all the way into the home, into the house. The shit you grew up and went through, the shit other people want to grow up through. Between siblings, there's double standards. There's siblings who get treated better than other siblings. Like, that's a double standard. Like, as the eldest sibling or as the eldest boy sibling, you kind of get the shit end of it. But as it trickles down to the younger siblings, they don't get none of it. You know what I mean? So there's double standards even in the household. So we're taught them regardless. So you would have to have a complete mindset shift in the world in order for it not to happen. But it has to be everybody, not just like, oh, America. No, it has to be all across the world type shit. Like, us as a human race have to change our minds. And it's never going to happen.
Yeah, I also think it's impossible for
Yeah.
double standards to not exist.
Yeah.
Just for the simple fact, one, we're human.
Mm.
Human are simple creatures that, like I said, try to make sense of something that don't make sense.
Yeah.
And even when we do make sense of it, we make a sense of it to how we like it, not
Oh,
to
for sure.
what's actual sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody knows what actual sense is. They only know what makes sense to
Yeah.
them and what makes them comfortable and stuff like that. And since that's the case of how we is, therefore, when it comes to double standards, that's why double standards are created, because it makes sense to certain people and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So long as it's like that, it can never happen. And I don't see a human being created that don't think like a human.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it'll be like really impossible,
No,
I
for
would
sure.
think, for it to happen and stuff like that. But then at the same time, when I introduced in the beginning of this conversation, double standards to a person I view
Mm-hmm.
most of the time. And all double standards aren't bad. You know what I mean?
No, for
Some of
sure.
them are logical to a certain person. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's actually good. Like what are something to you off the top of your head that you think is a good double standard to you? Like your opinion. Like
Ooh,
you
that's tough.
think this double standard makes sense to you. You think this double standard is good for your community or your world or your household or like something like that. You know what I mean? What's a double standard
Shit,
that you like that it's actually there. Like you actually think it
yeah,
makes
like
sense.
that makes sense. Yeah, I don't. That's a tough one. I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna have to dig in the back for that one because, like, face value from what we know of double standards to be, like we've been talking about this whole time, is that they're bad. Like we have not yet said a positive one. We've only said negative ones so
Yeah,
far.
I mean
You know what I
that
mean?
was just a
Yeah,
conversation that was leading.
yeah. I don't know. That's kind of that's deep. No, that's for shit show deep because like I can say certain ones obviously, but then like if you sit there and think, it's like, oh wait, hold on. I feel like there's always a negative side to it. Like even in a
Just
positive light,
I'm asking for something that makes sense to you.
I
You
know I'm thinking. I'm thinking.
don't let
I would
what
say,
the
okay,
world
you're right.
say.
Fuck these people. You're right. Let me get back in that mode. Fuck these people. Um, what I would say for me that I think is a good one, especially given like you said, household, culture, community, that the men are the protectors. I would say that's a good one. Now, I'm not saying the females can't be, but like men being out in front, I think is a good thing. I think it's a
Hmm.
good thing, especially when it comes to like anything happening to kids. You would definitely, not saying a woman couldn't do it. Trust me, there's a lot of badass women in this world for shit show. I just feel like let me say it that way. I feel like a lot of women do need to be, especially the world we live in, have to take a lot more. I would say self defense classes or shit like that. You know, where they prepare themselves. Like as men, like I'm not a fucking trained fighter. I don't know how to fucking proper fight. But if it came down to it, we gonna have to scrap. You know, in defense of your family, you going all out. Not saying a woman won't. I 100% believe a woman can. I know my mom would probably whoop some ass for us for shit show. You know what I mean? But I do like that fact of the men are the protectors, just because, like for us now, like if anything happened to my little sister, it's me, my dad, my little brother. We out in front. Like it is what it is. I don't give a fuck. She was having issues with a little kid at school. I'll pull up. I don't give two flying fuckeries.
Huh?
I don't do
Your
nothing. I don't
sister,
do nothing.
how old is
I
your
don't
sister
do nothing.
again? Let the fans
10?
know.
10? I don't give a fuck. I
You
don't give a
know,
fuck. But
so she was having
hold on.
problems at
Hold
school.
on, hold on.
Okay.
This no, hold on. This happened at Rice. I don't give a fuck. This happened at Rice,
Uh-huh.
and there was a little boy chasing not just her but other little girls in the room around with scissors. And I'm not talking about. I'm talking about.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So given the situation is different. You know what I'm saying? Like obviously,
Okay.
like picking on and joking is different, but like when it's like a threat like that's serious. Like that kid was taught and seen shit to put him in that perspective of like, oh, I'm gonna kill someone or stab someone, you know. Even though in the kid's mind he's probably playing around or whatever, but like in that set, like I'm going to the school, like I'm pulling up. I don't care. I'm not gonna do nothing to the kid. The pure presence of an older person as a older brother gives off to young kids. It's like, oh, he gonna fuck me up. So I like that's my double standard that I like. Y'all can take it, y'all can criticize me. I really don't give a fuck because that's how I view my life. That's how I'm gonna raise my kids. I'm gonna let everybody know around me that your job as the man and or older sibling has to protect everybody else. As the father, you have to protect everybody else. I think that is a good double standard. Not saying the woman, the mother should not have that as well. She should definitely have it. And I think
Definitely. Yeah, buddy, I think your mic went out. You gotta say that last part again. What you mean?
oh no, start counting down again for me.
Just keep going.
Okay, cool. Sorry. Technical difficulties on my side. I don't know what that was. But what I'm basically saying is that the both mother and father, if they do both have the perspective of being complete, not saying a mother wouldn't have a perspective of being protectors, but if they were both versatile and complete protection.
Yes, we have some technical difficulties. I'll just go on here and start off. I agree. Um, I like those point of views as well. But obviously, I'm a man, just like Andrew's a man. So those are certain things that some things we was taught and the things we had to see within our own household and our community and stuff like that. So it makes sense to us. So that's a double standard that I also can accept right there that men should be the protectors when it comes to their family and stuff like that. But definitely a woman should not lack the mindset to protect her own family as well. Because I definitely would love to have me a particular other who will definitely slide for me and my family. You feel me? It can't just be me. It got to be two killers in the family. You know what I mean? But I'll go ahead and talk about a good double standard I also like when it comes to in the workplace parental leave. I think I said that right. When it comes to a woman having a child and stuff like that, they should be able to get it all and focus on having that child and not taking the work stress. Because having a child is a lot. I'm still learning to this day about the stuff that women go through to be able to have a child and emotions and the mental and physical that it takes to have a healthy baby and stuff like that and stuff you got to go through. So learning all that just opens up my mind even deeper to make me really believe that the double standard that a woman should be allowed more time off and stuff like that rather than a man. Um, I believe in that as well. I think a man should take a break, you know what I mean, from work as well, but I don't think that a man should take as much as the lady is taking, you know what I mean? Because even though the man's still putting in work to have this child by taking care of his wife is putting in the hell of work. It's as if I think about it, me personally, I think about it as if, you know, as an athlete as you squatting, if you're an athlete, you know what I mean? Like your wife is squatting 3 plates, 6 reps, 10 times, and you squatting 2 plates, 10 reps, 3 times. You know what I mean? So y'all both putting in heavy work, heavy artillery work that make you want to put it down and take a break so you get ready for your next set. But at the end of the day, she's taking it all the way to the end and literally making a baby out of the things that's inside of her, things of that nature. So that's something good that I would say, no, I mean, that come from double standards and things of that nature. Um, I guess I'll finish off this episode by talking about something that I believe is me personally a bad thing about double standards. Just like I gave you a good one,
They got it.
uh, a
Go ahead.
bad. Okay, we're gonna finish it off by talking about now a bad some double standard that we think is bad.
Terribly. Okay.
Like we don't agree with it. We don't think like it's like
Right.
what? Why is
Okay.
that even a double standard and stuff like that?
Hmm.
So you got one?
Yeah. I think a main one that not a lot of people talk about. Well, I feel like it's brought up, but it's kind of like skimmed by. Um,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to teachers having interrelations with their students, especially when it's in the ages of high school and but it goes down to middle school, but that's a little different. But it's the same thing, but it's just a little different because that's for sure kids. High school, you're definitely still a kid, but you're getting to the point of adulthood, so you get a little leeway in the public's eye, which is not should not be the case. But when a male teacher has a relation with a female student, it's reprimanded, terrible on the man, you know, groomer, molester, whatever the fucking words they want to throw at him. For sure, yes, like that's what he is. But when it's flipped and it's a female teacher and a male student, it's more the male students highlighted because he knocked down the teacher. Let's be for real. And there's a lot of cases where those words aren't necessarily thrown completely at a female teacher. They're there, and that is what she is, but it's not in the same way that it is on the male teacher. Like, let's be honest here. That is terrible. That is a shitty double standard because it
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be, oh, it gets more skimmed by than it does if a man did it, and it's not good. The perspective change is different, and I feel like that's probably like the worst one in my eyes. I don't know about you, but to me, that's the worst.
To me, I'm gonna just talk about one that I think is bad. I can't really dig that deep. I can't really not deep, but I can't really
For sure.
pick what's the worst.
For sure.
But the first thing that come to mind, I'm gonna go back to the pregnancy
Okay.
conversation. Having a
Yeah.
child, the
Oh,
double
okay.
standard of having a child between a
Yeah, yeah,
man and
yeah,
a woman,
yeah, yeah.
and I know it's gonna upset a lot of people. I don't care. We spent the whole episode talking about this. I forgot what episode it was, but it's one of the first five for sure. So just go
Yeah,
back and listen to them if you
it's
want
one
the
of those for
full
sure.
episode description of it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I'm really behind the double standards with bringing kids into this world between a man and a woman. The whole men not shit for taking care of their kids, or men not shit for not being for the lady through the kid process. I think that should go all the way back to the process of, deciding to have sex in the first place.
yeah.
You know what I mean? 90% of the time we are all out here having sex with people we don't want to marry. You know what I mean? Or we don't see ourselves marrying most of the
Yeah,
time, you know what I mean, at some point in our lives. So it's cases where we end up getting each other pregnant and there's a decision that needs to be made. You
right.
feel me? And things of that nature. So where the double standard comes into play is that men has no choice
Yeah,
in these situations. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And I feel like people need to go ahead and sit down and have these conversations and open up their minds to the point where a man has a choice somewhere in there. At the end of the day, he gonna make his choice. You saying
No,
he don't
for
have no
sure.
choice is crazy. It's crazy when a
Yeah,
lady tells a man certain by certain stuff, like he's not another human being, and tell him he has no choice. He gonna make that choice regardless. You gonna like it or not, you know what I mean? But he gonna
we're
do
gonna
it.
dip.
You
We're
know
gonna
what I
dip.
mean? So if you get in a situation where you end up getting pregnant and things of that nature, and y'all had this conversation, and y'all previously never had a conversation about having a kid with each other and stuff like that. Stuff happens. It just happens and stuff like that. But where the double standard comes in is in situations, two situations. The lady wants to keep it, the man doesn't. The woman doesn't want to keep it, the man does.
Yeah.
Regardless of whichever situation it could go towards, it's always the woman's choice. And I know y'all, some of y'all are thinking like, does woman body, my choice, whatever I choose to be. Okay, right, cool. I also believe in that. But where it comes in at is the presumption that a man has to follow by your choice.
Or he
That's
has
where the
no,
double standards
not necessarily no
comes
say,
in.
but like his perspective and his opinion on it, like out the
Yeah,
window.
yeah, yeah. That's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
you think just because you make a choice, the man has to follow it. And all ifs, ands, buts about it. If
Mm-hmm.
you decide to keep this baby, you think that he should stay. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the expectations to you. You know what I mean? But if y'all never had this conversation to have one, and he told you he's not ready to be a father, regardless if he expresses the reasons why, you know what I
Right.
mean, and stuff that he's seen and he been through that he don't think he can raise a child, stuff like that, you're literally playing Russian roulette, like I explained in the previous episode. Like I said, if you want deep explanation, go check out one of the previous episodes. You know,
I'm sure it's
you
like
can't
six,
miss it.
7.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So he's still gonna make his decision at the end of the day, and then if he leave, it's bad. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
he told you he didn't want it in the first place.
Right.
You know what I mean? But now let's flip to the other side where the woman doesn't want to keep it, but the man does because he really wants a child and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Her body, her choice. She decides that she doesn't want the kid. She's not ready to raise a kid and things of that nature. So the baby doesn't come into this world. That's a double standard I just don't understand. I just don't get it. You know what I mean? At the end of
It's
the
very rare
day,
to have a father who's ready to be a father like that.
right? At the end of the
It,
day, it's both y'all creating a child.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It takes two to make a baby. So why does it take one to make a choice if the baby comes here or not?
Mm. Mm. One more time. One more time.
You know what I mean? Like I
One more time.
always say, bro, that's a double standard I just don't like. You know what I mean? When it comes to people
Yeah.
having babies and bringing them into this world, it takes two people to make a baby. So why would it take one person to decide whether this baby comes to the world or not? Both of y'all decide to sit here and have sex, but only
Mm-hmm.
one of y'all get to decide what comes out of it. And only one
That's
one of
insane.
y'all could judge or what happens after the decision is made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's like a deep thing in human nature for us. You know what I mean? And I can never understand it, bro. That's another standard I just
Oh,
don't get. You know what I mean?
yes, sir.
I don't know. Talk to us in the comments,
Yeah,
chop it up
sure.
with us. Tell us what you think.
Mm-hmm.
If you find these conversations, anything that we talk about interesting, go talk to your people. If you don't got nobody to talk
Yeah.
to, talk to us. Shit, text us, DM
Comment.
us. We can reply. We
Yeah,
could
for
we could
sure.
get on a podcast. We could talk about it. You know what I mean? Things of that nature. But like, just think about all the double standard stuff in the world that you
No,
come
for
across,
sure.
that you experience firsthand, secondhand, from afar, things of that nature, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we're gonna end a podcast right there on that note. You know
So,
what I mean?
yeah,
On a
yeah.
controversial topic right there. You
We are
know,
canceled. Last episode. I'll see
you
y'all next year. Goddamn.
know what I mean? Hey, you know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta be the milestone that set the stuff going. You know
For
what I
sure.
mean? You
For
gotta
sure.
be the pebble that turns a rock into a goddamn boulder. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no, for
So
sure.
it's just like you just gotta get the ball rolling and stuff like that. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean? Appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode here on Fucking Listen.
Fucking listen, bitch.
Episode 10, you know what I mean? We come
Hey,
in with the
yeah.
controversial, head
Us, us.
bopping,
Hey,
head
yeah.
thumping,
Hey, yeah.
conversational things that's gonna
Us.
get the ball running. Yeah, on
Ah,
episode 10. You feel
ah.
me? So we
Yeah.
gonna see y'all next time here on the podcast.
We're canceled.